Hey, good evening. It's Friday, August 7th. Thanks so much for being here. This morning I recorded what I'm going to do tonight, but I made a technical error, so I need to re-record it. And so some of you may be hearing this twice. My apologies, although I don't think most of you have. So I think I took it down before too many of you saw it. So I'm going to reissue it tonight. And it's the end of almost to the end of Psalm 25 that we've been talking about. And it's a powerful passage which leads us to want to know God more deeply. The psalmist here, David, is offering us to pursue comfort in the warmth of the experience of knowing God's kind, warm, caring compassion. Because that's how God is, that's how he operates. So that's the call to us this night. And the basis of the psalm is an overarching theme. So there's two more sections to go, one now and then one more tomorrow. And then, as you know, I'm preparing to preach on this on Sunday. And I just pray that the Lord will help us to grasp the power that is there in knowing the experience of trusting God, and how his words are designed to resonate in our hearts. It's also appropriate to hear music with this one because these psalms are set to music. They're designed for music so that they will stay with us. So these truths are designed by David, by the Holy Spirit, to resonate with us in a musical fashion. So look for this peace as we study these things together. Verse 18, look on my affliction and my trouble and forgive all my sins. Look on my enemies, for they see how they have multiplied, and they hate me with a vicious hatred. And then the last verse we'll look at tonight, watch over my soul and deliver me. Do not let me be ashamed, for I have taken refuge in you. And it's this experience of finding refuge in God that Psalm 25 holds out for us. And it's a beautiful thing for us to pursue. So, verse 18, he restates something that he said several times in this psalm. Look on my affliction and my trouble and forgive all my sins. He said this repeatedly in verse 7. Do not let the sins of my youth, do not remember them, O Lord. In verse 11, you must pardon my guilt. And that theme that we talked about before, you must, not that God is required to, but David is acknowledging this is how God operates. He's expecting God to be God. That's how we can say must in this context. And now in verse 18, forgive all my sins. So David knows he has enemies on the outside, but he's not so foolish just to think that his only trouble is the outside. He knows it comes from him, so he's begging God for forgiveness. In verse 19, he refers to those things on the outside. And he says, look at my enemies, for they have multiplied, and they hate me with a vicious hatred. And this is a description of the way the world works. We think the world is our friend. It presents itself as our friend, but it is not. It is not our friend at all. John warns us, don't love the world or anything in the world. If you love the world, the love of the Father is not in you. For everything in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, the pride of life, comes not from the Father, but from the world. The pride of life is our desire for things and stuff and power. The world and its desires pass away. The evil desires you have, they pass away. But whoever does the will of the Lord lives forever. And then finally, watch over my soul and deliver me. Don't let me be ashamed, for I have taken refuge in you. So again, there's a trilogy here. Look on my affliction, forgive my sins. Look on my enemies, protect me, for they have multiplied. They are not my friend. And then watch over my soul and deliver me. Do not let me be ashamed, for I have taken refuge in you. And that's what David is urging us to. take refuge in him by knowing this God, knowing all of his ways, not just the commands sense, but how God operates in this world, how beautiful it is, how much it resonates with us. Like Psalm 46 tells us, there is a river whose streams make glad the city of God. Rest in the flow of that river this night and know what it means to take refuge in God. Rest well, my friends, and we'll see you in the morning.